A black luxury car tore down the road, carrying Fang back toward Villa. Fang sat in the car, thinking about Villa as a mix of emotions swirled through him. A poised woman stood beside the sleek car, resting a hand on its polished surface. A dark-haired young man asked why Secretary Joe was driving and wondered where Yi had gone. A calm woman stood beside the car and told Fang that they had arrived. Fang told Secretary Joe to wait as the others stared in shock at Joe, driving for Yi. Fang called out Yi's scheme, mocking the idea of a food delivery guy slapping a wealthy family and striking back. One mocking voice smirked at the other, openly ridiculing him and asking why he found the situation so amusing. The mocker pointed at Yi, sneering that he was pretending to be a CEO and asking how much he had paid Secretary Joe. A woman confronted Fang and mocked his connection to President Chin at Group. Fang looked on in surprise when he saw smiling unexpectedly. A thoughtful woman reflected on Yi's achievements, believing his actions proved how far he was willing to go for her. Tension filled the air as Fang gestured toward the building and demanded answers from his rival. He asked where the witness was, visibly frustrated. Confident and composed, Fang walked toward them with steady resolve. The dark-haired man studied the thugs in front of Villa and grew suspicious of why they were there. Fang could feel the tension thickening. The elegant setting pressed in on Fang as he faced, confusion written across his face, claimed to be his brother and reminded him of their past meeting. The smug man accused Fang of lying about brother, saying he was only too scared to admit the truth. A confrontation flared up as one calm man questioned the witness, while another angrily accused him of theft. An angry woman confronted Yi, accusing him of stealing from the family despite his attempts to defend himself. Fang stared at old madam with a hard expression and ever taking her family's watch. The anger rose as a woman held up a luxury watch and demanded to know how it had ended up with brother. Fang pressed the seller about the watch and said it had been sold to him, while the seller stood trapped in the accusations. Fang kept pressing, asking where the money for the room had come from. Moments later, the other side insisted they had already agreed on the lines beforehand. Fang stood tall before the group and revealed that he was the president of Group. He declared himself a billionaire with defiant confidence, drawing gasps from the crowd. The group burst into laughter, their easy amusement clashing with the frustrated woman watching them. A playful voice mocked the confused one with lines from a story, sending the audience into laughter. A playful woman teased Yi about his obsession with money and joked about marrying him together with her sister. A tense exchange followed as the dark-haired young man urged his brother to apologize, afraid of what would happen if he did not. A serious woman told Yi about their past, stressing that the family had no intention of sending him to prison. A tense standoff filled the room as a commanding woman demanded submission from the dark-haired young man and promised him a way out if he. The dark-haired young man stood firm while two furious women hurled accusations at him. He said he had done nothing wrong and would not kneel, while one woman cursed him as a bastard and the other demanded that the police send him to prison for 10 years. Fang felt dread creeping in as he realized the secret could be exposed if the police got involved. Fang shouted for his brothers to hold a rival down, insisting he should kneel whether he wanted to or not. A mysterious figure ordered Fang to kneel, but he refused and said the man was not worthy of his submission. Fang rushed forward and slipped past the assailant's fierce strike. Fang struck back with a powerful punch, landing it with focused force. Chaos erupted when a rough man ordered his brothers to attack Fang, stunned by the sudden appearance of a small dog. Fang stood his ground with the small dog by his side, calling out with total confidence. Fang smiled as he petted the little white dog and remembered how they had stayed together through everything. Holding the small dog tightly, Fang compared its loyalty with the betrayal of certain people and said even a dog knows true kindness. In the elegant room, a determined woman ordered to bring back. Fang glared at Yi and offered him one last chance to admit his mistake before the pain started. Fang stood tall and told the group they were not worthy of him. Fang faced several attackers at once, his stance steady as one assailant lunged at him with a knife. Fang fought through the attackers, remembering the battlefield trial the family had arranged years ago. Fang drove a powerful kick into his opponent and showed no sign of backing down. Fang followed with a crushing punch, asserting his dominance in the brutal clash. Fang stood over several defeated opponents, his power and dominance plain for everyone to see. A muscular man grabbed Fang from behind with a brutal, suffocating hold. A muscular man threatened Fang with a knife, demanding that he hold still so he could cripple his hand tendons. The air thickened as a tattooed man threatened Fang, vowing to cripple him for hurting his men. A sudden bite tore into Fang's skin, leaving him shocked and vulnerable. Fang channeled his energy and hit back hard, sending his opponent into pain and panic. Electric power exploded around Fang as he unleashed a fierce attack, shocking the two women watching in fear and awe. The woman frowned while thinking about the old man's decision regarding marriage, uncertainty clouding her expression. A young woman asked her grandfather what he intended with her marriage, torn between love and duty. The young man nearby reacted in disbelief and having any hidden motive. Inside the bright room, the dark-haired young man made a sarcastic remark about a work matter involving. The dark-haired young man spoke sharply too about the marriage arrangement, insisting that it had all been misunderstood. The dark-haired young man listened, as a woman said she despised being engaged to a violent man named Yi. A playful young woman teased her older sister for escaping disaster and told her to enjoy the good fortune. The dark-haired young man looked surprised at the strange story he had been hearing, while the girl beside him worried about it. The dark-haired young man stood against a crumbling wall, quietly reflecting on blood, longing, and his desire for love and family. A melancholy air surrounded the scene as the dark-haired young man thought about lost love, with memories of Yao filling his mind. Fang jerked away from the man who had grabbed his arm and immediately demanded to know what the other wanted. Fang tightened his grip on another person's hand, his determination sharp in the moment. Fang confronted an unseen figure and demanded to know why he had been falsely accused of stealing and who had given the order. Fang challenged his opponent and said he did not fear life or death, warning of the consequences for anyone who crossed him. Fang urgently warned Yi that his aggressive behavior in front of their grandmother could backfire badly. Fang defended himself, insisting he had never stolen from the family and daring them to produce proof. A cheerful dog stood on its hind legs and playfully interacted with the person beside it. Fang held the little dog in his arms and told it not to become a picky eater in the future. The dark-haired young man asked his father why he was letting the other man leave so easily. His father calmly answered that no one could defeat him. The men exchanged worried glances as they approached brother, and one of them admitted they were still uneasy about offending him earlier. Fang confronted his enemy and demanded compensation for his brother's medical expenses, vowing to give Yi a harsh lesson. The dark-haired young man climbed out of the car, urgency in every step, and said he would settle things with Yi right away. Fang replayed his humiliation in his mind and swore revenge on Yi for the pain he had suffered. In the conference room, Fang announced the start of a partnership with real estate, while the woman asked about sending a representative to explain the project, and the man agreed to call them immediately. A grand villa stood beneath the trees, peaceful and bright in the middle of the chaos. A dark-haired man excitedly shared the good news on his phone, saying the CEO of Group had agreed to fund them. In an elegant setting, an assertive woman urged to impress President Yi so future cooperation would be easier. A hopeful woman gently placed a hand on the man's shoulder and asked if she could go with him. A calm woman worried about the man's departure and mentioned that she had heard he was young and handsome, unlike the other CEOs. Two young women argued about President Yi, with one insisting that he was already taken. A confident woman joked that she was younger and more attractive than President Yi's current partner and could win his attention. A heated discussion broke out as a determined man defended his sister's view that outstanding people were rare. Excitement filled the air as a young girl spoke eagerly with her grandmother. Grandma told her she would meet President Yi at group, and the girl lit up with gratitude. A determined woman complained about being left out of the project she had proposed and insisted she wanted in as well. A tense exchange followed when a skeptical woman in a red dress questioned a calm woman in pink about marriage. A confident woman said she planned to pair President Yi with another girl and told her grandmother she would win him over. A young woman with expressive features complained that her grandmother clearly favored her sister. A calm woman in professional attire announced that President Yi and had arrived together. At his desk, a calm, authoritative young man told his assistant to make the guests wait in the reception room. The calm, authoritative young man decided not to serve tea to the guests. Tension filled the room as a frustrated daughter asked why her father had chosen that outfit for her first meeting. He explained that first impressions mattered. A confident young woman thanked her father while quietly planning to take President Yi back from Qin. A woman in the waiting room complained about the poor hospitality of group. At the doorway, a calm woman asked Secretary Zhou for black tea and told her to wait a moment. A young woman shouted in frustration, demanding tea from Secretary Zhou in the lavish waiting room. A tense room fell quiet as a confident advisor gave strategic advice to the surprised woman on the couch. The woman on the couch smiled with composure before looking surprised at Fang. An impatient young woman complained that she could no longer sit elegantly and wait for President Yi. A surprised young man with dark hair opened the door and found something unexpected waiting outside. In the stylish living room, a sharp-tongued man commented first on the woman's casual clothes and then on how elegant she looked in them. An assertive woman brushed off the dark-haired young man and made it clear that she was not interested in his advances. Fang grew frustrated and tried to explain himself. Tension rose as a dismissive man challenged Fang, mocked his understanding of business, and pressed him about the project. Fang held firm while he said he was leaving, frustrated by the argument. A woman reached for the departing man, trying one last time to get his attention. Fang answered seriously, saying he knew quite a bit about the situation between Qin and President Yi. Fang asked an unknown person what kind of relationship Qin and President Yi really had, and whether they lived together or stayed at each other's homes. Fang considered house influence might help clear up the rumors about his breakup with Qin. Shock rippled through the room as two people reacted to the news of a breakup. A joyful woman lit up at the news of the breakup, while a curious man asked why she seemed so happy about it. A confident woman sat elegantly on the couch, smiling with clear amusement at the unfolding scene. A confident woman confronted a confused man and complained about how often he kept changing his title. An authoritative man questioned the dark-haired young man's loyalty to group and mentioned President Yi. An authoritative man threatened Fang, saying that marrying into group would elevate him into their family. A confident woman believed President Yi would be drawn to her charm and purity, and that taking the initiative would win his affection. If you'd like to see your favorite titles retold, leave a comment, and I'll be sure to pick some of them up from time to time. Also, let me know which video format you like more, long videos or short ones. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you again soon.